your life is on the line and you know that you're on an oxygen tank and they're going to put two in your head, see what you do. Because the bottom line is that me, I'm one person. I can never miss.
Guy's not being loyal to you. How could you be loyal to him?
Yeah,
and whether you're your father or not. So, but it's always been hard because it was my father.
The word came down, this guy had to go. We didn't know nothing about him until the last minute. And I liked him. I liked Bill. He was a nice guy, but...
Welcome to the show. Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today we're going to talk about the murder of Alan Kaiser, the 16-year-old boy who was shot by Mr. Sammy Gravano. So there's been a lot of talk in the news lately about Sammy getting away with murder. So obviously Sammy has gotten away with murder in the past. He killed 19 people, allegedly. Because when you say he killed 19 people, he did not kill them by his own hand. He tries to portray this guy who's like this assassin who's out killing all these people. That's not the case. Sammy Gravano is a lowlife. He hasn't changed. He didn't cooperate to make a new life for himself and get out of the life. He cooperated to save his own ass. That's why he cooperated. So, Tommy Staxx, how are you, man? Thank you for joining me. Cindy, how are you? Thank God it's Friday, right? So, there's a lot that goes into this case. I've been doing some research on when Alan Kaiser got killed, and we're going to get into it. So before we get started, make sure you guys hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. So Alan Kaiser, he was a 16-year-old. He was allegedly walking home from school, and I'm going to read you the newspaper article. Here, I'll show you guys. So this is the newspaper article that came out. I believe it was the next day. It says, shotgun kills boy 16. A 16-year-old Brooklyn boy was killed by a shotgun blast early yesterday as he was walking along East 8th Street near Kings Highway in Coney Island, police reported. A 21-year-old accompanying the youth was wounded by the gunman who fired from a car. Now, if Mr. Gravano, right, and Louis Melito, if what they're saying is true, that Alan Kaiser ran towards the car, that's bullshit, because they both would have ran towards it. It doesn't make sense. Someone shooting at people, right? Are you going to run towards the gunfire? I highly doubt it. Once guns start going off, people are going to be dodging for cover and trying to get out of the way. They're not going to run towards the shooter, especially a 16-year-old boy. So a lot of this doesn't add up. So it goes on to say, 21-year-old accompanying the youth was wounded by the gunman who fired from a car that drove up alongside the victim. There's another indiscrepancy that Gravano told in his story. So Gravano said that he was in the back seat of the car and Louis Melito killed this kid. But in this article, it says the car rolled up on him. So obviously, Sammy is lying. Sammy killed this kid. Honestly, he should be indicted for murder and he should have to face these charges in court. That's my belief. But the government seems to like Mr. Gravano and made a sweetheart deal with him. So Sammy was the key in convicting John Gotti and Frankie Loke, his alleged friends. He also put away a total of 39 other mobsters, including the Chin. The first murder Sammy was tasked with committing was Joe Colucci. And then he goes on his YouTube show to talk about all these murders like he's proud of it. But a lot of his tales are spun bullshit, if you can't tell. Sammy the bullshit. And there's a lot of other things to go along with this. So Sammy, back in the day, he was going to be a hairdresser. A lot of people don't know that. Sammy had a gay affair going on with this guy, right? And the guy was going to tell Gravano's wife, Debbie. So Gravano could not let that happen. So he had him killed. There's a lot of cases we're going to go over. And we're just scratching the surface on this shit. So, hold on, let me get the right one. So in 1977, a 16-year-old Alan Kaiser was walking home when he saw Sammy Gravano, one of John Gotti's men, kill a man. He was shot as a witness. Gravano, who killed 19 plus people, served less than 5 years in exchange for his testimony against Gotti. In a 2019 video, he blames Kaiser for his own death. In 2002, Gravano was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison on drug trafficking charges. They should have put him in the same prison as Whitey Bulger. They should have. I don't think he would have made it through. What is your opinion? Do you think Sammy Gravano would have made it through the same prison that Whitey Bulger made it through? I highly doubt that. Sammy wouldn't have made it. The judge said Gravano had shown an utter lack of remorse for his violent crimes. The court trusts. She gave him more time than what the sentencing guidelines recommended, 12 to 15 years. Relatives of Gravano's murder victims were present in the gallery, and many were happy to see him receive a long prison sentence. The happiest day of their lives came when he was indicted in Arizona. The lawyer for Gotti's victims called Gravano an unrepentant psychopath. And I believe that. He is not changed. He is not a changed man. He did not want to do better with his life. He is a scumbag. And Goat, how are you? Thanks for joining me, man. Tommy Stiggs, I really appreciate you guys. So Gravano's attorney, Anthony Rico, said Gravano whispered to him, "It's a good thing. She's going to give me more than 20 years. Rico said the outcome was no surprise. This was an insult to the prosecutor's office. There was egg on their face. Many of Gravano's old associates turned on him, and Gotti's former lawyer took humor in the thought. There's irony that they have turned on Gravano. So Gravano was released from prison on September 18th, 2017, when he was 77 years old. Fucking Sammy made my blood boil hearing him try to blame that kid for what happened to him. And that scumbag Louis Melito, who did the work, just a pair of lowlifes murdering scumbags. Him trying to equivalate shows to show his true colors. Keep in mind, the next time he's crowing about how beautiful this thing was, remember the innocent victims like these. Whenever these degenerates try to tell you that there are rules of honor in that life, just like Sammy, he tries to claim like he's still in that life, like he's a noble guy. He's this noble gangster who lived by the code, and he only betrayed John Gotti because John Gotti was going to betray him. All bullshit. All bullshit. It sounds good. Sounds real good. Sammy the Bull is an absolute garbage can. Just like you said, Tommy, 100% absolute garbage can. He had no problem selling drugs with his family, did he? Did he have problems selling ecstasy with his family? No. He didn't have problem playing the big mob boss then, right? The big rap boss, because that's all he is. It's all he ever be. You will never be a mob boss, ever, Sammy. You once were the underboss for the Gambino crime family, but you are probably the disgrace of the Gambino crime family. You are what not to do in the life, Sammy. You are like the poster child for trash bags. And then you come on YouTube and try to blame this kid for his own murder. You couldn't take responsibility for yourself if it fucking punched you in your old decrepit face. You're not a gangster. I don't believe you. You don't have the fucking backing of anybody besides a bunch of fucking people who want to, I don't know. I don't know why anyone would want to be on your good side. For what? You have nothing to offer. You're not loyal. You're not noble. You're not a fucking good person. You're a fucking piece of shit. That's why your family left your ass in Arizona. That's why you live in a storefront. You can't even find family to like be around you because they don't like you anymore. Deborah Gravano is on her fucking deathbed right now. A lot of you people might not know that. She's dying right now. She's in hospice. How come Gravano's not over there trying to take care of her or anything? He doesn't do shit for anybody but himself. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. I heard his kids left his ass in Arizona. Gone. They should have took care of him a long time ago. They should have. There's been many plots to take out Gravano, but none of them seem to go anywhere. And I don't know, maybe they're just saying he's not worth it anymore. He's not a valuable target. Who knows? But I know that once you do have a contract on your life, in that life, no matter what, John Gotti being gone, Frankie Loke's gone, the contract's still there 100%. It doesn't go away until it's fulfilled. So until Gravano is no longer breathing, I'm sure there's a contract on it, 100%. And somebody in that life would probably handle you just for the name. They didn't only betray John Gotti. He didn't just turn on him. He came here and put my neighborhood guy away for life. He came to Newark and testified against Bobby Kerbert. Crazy, man. He testified against 39 mobsters. 39. And there was a lot of other associates and other people who felt the wrath of Gravano's testimony. And then to add insult to injury, right, with Gravano, he rubs it in the face of this family, of this kid that he killed. But now that it's coming to light, because people don't know, was this murder in the indictment? Was this murder in the deal? I'm sure they left things out. I'm sure that all of the crimes that Sammy committed aren't in that indictment. You know, there's no statute of limitations for murder. So they can pick that case up anytime. He can go to prison now. But John Gotti's gone. Frankie Loke's gone. They have passed away. So, like they're not going to do that. They're not going to. I mean, if I was Alan Kaiser's family, I would keep pressing the issue. Don't stop. When Gravano came out with this book, The Underboss, he was trying to get paid from that shit. But the victim's family took him to court and they won a whole lot of money. Every penny Gravano makes on Underboss goes right to the family. I don't know if it still goes to them to this day, but I know back then it did, 100%. What relation is Deborah? That was his wife. That was Gravano's wife. Blame the kid for his own death. Said he was big and probably on drugs and attacked him. And the kid was shot in the back running away. He was a nerd who loved art. He wasn't a thug. I seem to remember her last name. Kaiser, totally telling my age. Hey, sometimes you can't avoid that, right? Cindy, sometimes you can't avoid the age thing. But it is what it is. We're all going to get old and gray. And some of us do it gracefully. Some of us don't. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Louie? Staxx, the man with the positive change and positive plans. You already know, man. The government created this animal worse than ever. I would bet anything Crypt Keeper will do whatever he wants. He killed her, Deb's brother. He also killed his own brother-in-law, Deb's brother. Crazy. He was going to out Mr. Gravano on being gay. Mr. Gravano had a gay relationship. And this guy, Deborah's brother, was going to tell his sister about Sammy. So what did Sammy do? He devised a plan. I got to get rid of him. I'm not going to let him tell. So he devised a plan. And he killed him. So he couldn't tell. But there's a lot of information out there if you guys don't know. Hit that like button, people. All right. Sammy the Bottom Bowl. Was Sammy Gravano really gay? Oh, man. All right. Sammy Gravano, the hitman and Valley resident, eyed his visitor with a staringly glare. So you're going to write about Sammy the Bull living there? he said in a seemingly raspy voice. Do you know how many people he'd get killed if if you were to do that? Seemed odd coming from someone responsible for 19 murders. But question had merit. Gravano, the turncoat underboss, put John Gotti and 39 other New York mobsters in prison, had managed to stay underground for nearly 5 years. He was hiding in sunny Arizona from assassins from Illinois, cops who ordered a reward for sightings from families of victims who filed lawsuits from the media. Came the reason most everyone else does not to get a new start. Most neighbors did not know the middle-aged guy next door was the notorious robberies, loan sharking, extortion, and homicides. Employees had no idea their boss once operated a corrupt New York construction business, rigging bids and running unions. That's how Gravano wanted it. But over time, his secret life and identity slowly unraveled. It happened in part because Gravano is sometimes indiscreet. He has a business, a publicist, a lawyer, U.S. Marshals, FBI agents watching over him. He tells some people his real name. Gravano knew his identity would be exposed someday. He lives in a modest bungalow, the sort of place that 20-something bachelors would call home. There's no family photographs visible, nothing intimate, interesting, or other than life-size dummy using for a punching bag. A little dog growls, sniffs at strangers. Gravano wears black muscle shirt, gray sweatpants, and dark shades in his low-light living room. After small talk, he wonders aloud why his story is worth telling. What would be so interesting about me running a legitimate business, being monitored by the government? I think it's boring. Then again, he said, if word gets out, the New York media will swarm into Arizona. And every detail of his new life in the mafia might feel compelled to follow. In the mob, anytime somebody flips, that's an open contract on him, Gravano says. Moments later, he downplays the danger. There's no real worry about getting whacked, Gravano says, because he became pals with FBI agents and U.S. Marshals. They drop by on vacations to Arizona. He talks to their wives on the phone. Besides, the mafia has been through, seemingly infiltrated the feds. Who ordered the hit. So thoroughly infiltrated, the feds would know who ordered the hit. The mob is smart enough to know when they do something. They want to get away with it, he explains. Gravano, stocky, muscle shirt, stocky, muscular man who seemed younger than 54, oozes bravado. He says he doesn't look under his car or over his shoulder. He doesn't understand fear. I grew up in a lifestyle, he says. There's 30,000 cops in New York. Every time you go out, you don't know if you're coming back. I'm a boxer. No, you're not, Sammy. You're not a fucking boxer. Get your ass beat when you went into the boxing ring. Yeah, this is a premiere, man. And it's live for once. So hit that like button, people. Yes, it's live. So let's get back to this. I was a boxer who got my ass beat plenty of times in the ring. I know what it's like to get hit, and I know what it's like to fight. And you lose your fear. I could go to Montana and live 20 years in a cabin and be scared to death. Or I can live here and be happy. Be where I'm happy. 5 years, I chose to live here. Gravano paused, smiles. When it appears, when it happens, it happens. If they start shooting, then I'll be a little scared, he said. A new identity. Sammy the Bull arrived here as a legitimate... Sammy the Bull arrived as an inmate in the Federal Correctional Center. Upon release, he was given a new identity and background. He rented an apartment, returned to the construction business, and settled in. For a guy with the threat of a bullet in the head, life was tolerable until 2 weeks ago. The secret died at his construction office amid junkyards and vacant lots. Sammy the Bull stormed into the foyer, and with a clenched jaw, he confronted an unexpected visitor. "What do you want?" he demanded. And then he turned in heel and grunted, "Follow me." He seated him back in the room. Gravano. He told the terms to vent his anger about being found out. He said he wasn't worried about himself, but his family members, employees, innocent people who would suffer. Jobs would be lost, reputations ruined. He said he created a new life in the valley. He wasn't going to start over, no matter what. "I'm not running from the mafia," he added. "I'm not running from the media." He said he might tell his story under the right conditions. So I guess the conditions were right for him to jump on YouTube and tell his story. Bottom line is, Sammy the Bull is a fucking rat. And it will never change. This is Sammy's mascot, okay? Sammy's a fucking rat. He is the epitome of a bad mobster. Out bad. You're out bad. You're not the underboss no more, Sammy. Get that through your fucking head. All that gangster shit died when you took the stand, motherfucker. So if you guys like this type of content, we're going to be back with some more information on this guy. And I got some crazy stuff to tell you guys. But we're going to keep that for next time. If you guys like this type of content, make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you could get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't, too fucking bad. Start your own podcast. Peace. And rest in peace to Kaiser.